Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be filming a brand new book haul. Now there's been a lot of book hauls on my channel. I'm apparently hauling books all the time, but I haven't done one since May. I think you've seen one in June, but that was filmed mid-May, beginning of May. So all the books I've accumulated here are in the last 3.5 to 4 months. So it's not as bad as it seems. It's not great, but it's not bad. I have hauled more than this, but if I have read it and decided I didn't want to keep it and I've already donated it. So there's quite a few you won't see here, but there's more than enough for me to show, to be honest. I've separated it into many different piles. You can already see some here. I'm going to start by doing gifts, then I'm going to do books that I've purchased second hand, then I'm going to do books that I've purchased brand new, and then I'll be doing book box books, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody if they do not want to watch. So, as I said, I'm going to start with the gifts, and we will go from there. Thank you so much to anyone who decided to buy me a gift. That was so kind of you. You really did not have to do that. I deeply appreciate it. Most of these have been read, which is good. The first gift that I received was from Jade, and I received both volume 3 and volume 2, did that in the weird order, of Saga. We are buddy reading the series together, so she bought me these two to continue our buddy read. We have read both of these, and yeah, they were good. I enjoyed them. So I love when I have something to show in a haul that I've already read. It makes me feel less bad about hauling them. Next, I have one of the most incredible gifts that Liam was very kind as to gift to me, and that is the Folio Society edition of Rebecca. It's gorgeous. I feel so lucky to own this book. You're about to see another copy of Rebecca straight after this. I'm just apparently collecting editions. I now have 4. I love Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier so much, and some of the editions they've come out with are crazy beautiful. This one basically has illustrations throughout it. Some of them are full page and some of them are just very small, but they are absolutely gorgeous. I won't show you them all because I don't want to spoil the book or anything. And it's a prized possession for me now. As much as I would love to read this copy, I don't think I ever could at risk of damaging it. I think they've got like small illustrations throughout as well. So I'm really going to read this edition, but it is so beautiful on my shelves. The next edition of Rebecca that I hauled is not so beautiful. It is this one, which is the Virago Modern Classics edition. I think most people own this edition and most people like this edition. I don't like it, surprisingly, but it's the one I see all the time, so I really wanted to add it to my Rebecca collection. I did buy this myself. It is not a gift, but because I just showed a Rebecca book, I wanted to show this to you. It is not a gift. It is my own purchase, and I purchased it secondhand. Gorgeous. Sorry to just throw in a random book there, but stunning. Then again from Jade we have The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series, but it's a standalone set afterwards. Like, it's not the same mystery that we see in the first 3 books. I have again read this already and absolutely adored it. I thought it was so good. I give it 4 stars. It's not quite got the charm the first 3 books have, set at boarding school, but it definitely sets up for future books. And I know she hasn't confirmed any of this actually happening, but I'm telling you, there was a lot of setup in this book, especially with characters and things that I suspected were going to happen then didn't, and I definitely see some hints towards. So hopefully there will be future books because I love this series. But if you were worried about like picking this up after thinking it wasn't part of the series, it is really good. It's set between the summer, it's set in the summer between the years when she has solved the mystery and before she goes back to Ellingham Academy. Very, very good. Next we have a book from Connor, and it is one of my favourites. It is Credence by Penelope Douglas. I read this book so many times in this year. I think I'm on my 3rd read now this year. But what I never realised, because I read it on Kindle, was how big it is. It's 470 pages, which is absolutely crazy. But I adore this book so much. The minute I got it, I had to start rereading it. I am 300 pages into my reread, and I am tabbing and annotating the heck out of it. I'm literally writing on so many pages all my thoughts and feelings. I know a lot of people don't like this book, but I just forced Jade and Connor to read it with me, and they both give it I think Connor gave it 4 and Jade gave it 5, and it made me so happy. So yeah, loved this book. Again from Connor, we have As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. Oh, thank you for the gift note. This is the 3rd book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and it is chunky. I believe this is the final book, and they definitely put content into this. It is one of the biggest thrillers I've ever read at over 500 pages. So excited to get to this. I believe we are buddy reading it this week, maybe at the end of the week, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm so excited to get to this. And by we, I mean me, Connor and Jade. I forget, people aren't going to know what I mean in my head. But yeah, very excited to get to this. I despise the cover, I don't know why. I hate that it's not white and red like the other 3, because there's the 2 books on the novella, but it's just a personal gripe. Very excited to see where they go with this story. I miss the characters, I miss everything about it, so this is going to be a really good time. The last gift that I received was from Claire, and that is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I believe this is set like at the same time as the Cruel Prince series, just in a different place. Like, you don't see the characters, but it's just the same world at the same time. Could be completely wrong. I'm not really that worried. I just love Holly Black's writing. I want to read everything from Holly Black, so I'm just finishing up my Cruel Prince reread first, then I'm going to get to this. So thank you so much to anyone who bought me a gift. That was so kind of you. Thank you so much. You'd think that would be enough and that I wouldn't keep buying books, but apparently not. So moving on to some of the books that I bought secondhand. First we have Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhorse. I saw everybody raving about this, and I had no intentions of reading it personally. I didn't know the synopsis. I still don't know the synopsis. But I walked into my charity shop and this was 50p, and it is a brand new copy. This has never been read, never ever. It looks absolutely brand new, not a mark on it, and so I was like, 50p, why not? Even though I had no desire to read it really, other than the fact people have given it really good reviews, I still don't know what it's about. Again, we've talked a lot about Bookswap on my channel, so a couple of these are from Bookswap. The first one is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basterica. I don't know if I've talked about this before. It wasn't on my list, but I can't seem to find it in a previous vlog, so in a previous haul, so I do apologise if I have. I believe this is just a dystopian set somewhere where people no longer eat animal meat, they eat human meat, and would you do that as well? And I think it talks about like the complications of that. As a vegetarian, I find this quite interesting topic. I really want to read more about it and see like a fictional side to the story and what it would be like to eat human meat if people find it so normal to eat animal meat. Because in my head, obviously, it's not normal to eat animal meat because I don't eat it. So I want to see the polar, the extreme version of this in a story. It's super short. I think it's going to be super interesting. I've had it on my radar for quite a while, so I'm really excited to have a copy of this, and I'm hoping to pick it up soon, maybe for like a 24-hour readathon because it's super short. So yeah, definitely want to pick this up soon. Let me know if you've read this because I haven't seen that much about it, but it sounds really interesting. Again, another Bookswap find. I saw the cover and I was like, don't know what it is, but I need it, and that is Slade House by David Mitchell. This seems to be, don't hold me to it, a mystery where the house calls to someone once a year, and the person goes into the house because they are called to it, and it seems chaos arises. Now, what attracted me to it is the description. I won't read the entire thing, but I'll read one of the little bits on the back. On one side of a high wall lies a narrow, dark, dank alley. On the other, a sunlit garden. Between them, a small black iron door. You just need to open it. Welcome to Slade House. Now, I read Connor the actual synopsis of this, and he instantly put it on his wish list. It sounds amazing. If you haven't heard of this book, go look up the description, and I bet you'll want to read it. I haven't yet, despite its great synopsis. I have not actually picked this up yet. But this person is the author of Cloud Atlas, which again, I don't know what it is. I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it and saying how good it is. So I'm feeling that this is going to be a good one, again, especially for a readathon because of how small it is. The next book I saw in a charity shop, and I've seen Connor Stompanato talk about this quite a lot recently. He picked up a copy and loved it, so I need to pick it up. And that is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I hate this cover so much, but I'm trying to ignore it. Again, a super short book. I think this is like a coming of age story. That is all I know. It's set in New York. I don't know. I love books set in New York. I recently read City of Girls, and this gives me City of Girls vibes kind of thing. I'm assuming this is like a thriller of some sort. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I literally just trust Connor's opinion, so when he said he liked it, I was like, okay. And then I found it and was like, cool. It's mine now. So yeah, very excited to own this one. Hopefully it's great. Can't wait to pick it up. Again, a perfect one for a readathon. I'm going to have to do a readathon reading those 3 books because that'll take me barely any time at all. That's an idea. If you want to see a vlog on that, let me know. Something I've been really wanting to collect is the, I may as well show you, the illustrated editions of Harry Potter, but I don't want to put money into J.K. Rowling's pocket because so I've been waiting patiently to find this in a charity shop, to find this on Bookswap, and I finally found it on Bookswap. It was advertised as new, but it's definitely not. There's quite a few rips along it. So yeah, I'm just excited to own this and be able to start a collection. I only own this one. This is the Chamber of Secrets, but I've got to just take my chance when I can because I don't want to buy them brand new, so you don't know when this opportunity will come up again. So I picked it up. It is absolutely stunning with its illustrations. I'm literally obsessed with some of the pages in here, but I don't want to promote it because I don't want people to just go out and buy it brand new, so don't. She doesn't deserve your money. But it is a gorgeous edition. I'm really excited to own it now and own it in a guilt-free way. Again on Bookswap, one of my favourite places at the moment, I picked up 2 Daphne du Maurier books in the same edition. These are in really good condition. I've got The House on the Strand and My Cousin Rachel. I started My Cousin Rachel, I got 7 pages in, I didn't get very far because the introduction spoiled it for me. I don't read many classics. The only classic I've read is Rebecca, and that didn't spoil it for me. So I didn't think this one would because it's called an introduction and it spoiled it for me. So I'm trying to just forget. I don't know. But yeah, this one sounds really interesting as well. I didn't even know about this one existing until I saw it on there. But yeah, really excited to own both of these. Another thing that I picked up in the charity shop is The Bonus Mercies by April Genevieve Tokolki. I'm so sorry. I can't. I have no excuse. Something about women, witches. I don't need to know anymore. I heard one person talking about it and that just led me to want to pick it up. So when I saw it in the charity shop, looking pretty much brand new, I picked it up. I can't. These 50p books, okay, they grab me. They pull me in. It's dangerous. I should stop going in there. But yeah, love the cover on this. Love the price of this. Very excited to own it. Have not read it yet. It seems to be quite the trend here, but gorgeous. We're at the end stretch of the second-hand books. Next, I picked up Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. I now own all 3 of her books. I bought the first 2 that I own brand new, and then this one was on Bookswap, so I picked it up on there instead, because why not? I think this is just a romance, but I absolutely loved Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi. She had such an interesting writing style that I'm really excited to pick this one up and see if I love it just as much. But I don't hear much about this one. I hear a lot about the other 2, but not this one as much. So I'm excited to see. I think it might have been her first book, which would explain a lot, but very excited to start this. And finally, on my second-hand selection, I was a bit confused on what category to put this in because it is a book box book, but I did buy it second-hand from Jade, and that is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I'm very excited to own this. It has a signed book plate and some under the dust jacket artwork. It is gorgeous and I'm so glad I own it, but I didn't realise the edition I love that I've seen everywhere was actually the Owl Crate edition. I didn't realise that. I thought it was the Fairy Loot one, and I'm so glad I own this because the cover is stunning and I really like the pink tones. But the one I wanted had the undercover dust jacket work from Owl Crate. So I'm actually lucky enough that I was like, oh, I made a mistake. And I was telling Connor about it, even though I still love this edition, I'm not getting rid of this edition. He did say, I found the Owl Crate online and then someone bought it and I got really upset. So Connor has actually found me a copy and he's bringing it down with him when he visits. So I'm going to have both copies. I haven't even read this book, but I'm so excited to have it. Gorgeous, and everybody talks about this book. So I hope it lives up to the hype. Now moving on to the pile of brand new books. There's quite a lot of these. This is the biggest pile. Firstly, I picked up All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. I see a lot about this currently on Bookstagram, so I thought I would pick this up and give it a try. Of course, I've not given it a try because that is typical book fashion, but I'm so glad that I own it, and soon I will hopefully give it a try. I love things like magic and stuff, and I think it's like fortune telling, so this will be really, really intriguing to get to when I finally eventually do. As I mentioned, I bought all of the Mary H.K. Choi books, and that includes Yoke and Emergency Contact. These books are stunning. I love the covers of Mary H.K. Choi. I have not read Emergency Contact yet, but I have read Yoke and I absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars. I thought it was an incredible read. I'm really obsessed with Mary H.K. Choi's writing style. So yeah, these are 2 new additions to my collection that I'm very, very excited by. Another book I bought is more of like a me and Liam purchase, but that is the Stranger Things side novel, I don't know. The Darkness on the Edge of Town by Adam Christopher. Why was I struggling with the name Christopher? Oh my goodness, I can't speak. I think this is a prequel to Hopper's life before he came to be in the city of Stranger Things, which I can't remember the name of, but when he was working in New York City as a detective. I imagine we'll read this at some point. I just mean like it's not on my TBR. This stays on my permanent shelves, and one day me and Liam will get to it, but it is an official Stranger Things novel. I love Stranger Things so much with my whole heart, so this is very, very, very exciting to own. I just couldn't pass it up when I saw it. But like, I probably shouldn't have bought it, but I did anyway. So yeah, me and Liam purchased this book. It is a joint thing, so we share the guilt. Next, I picked up a book so that I could buddy read with Connor, and that is Neverwhilt Wake by Marisha Pessel. I saw this in one of Connor's hauls or some video, and it sounded fascinating, so I messaged him, was like, that sounds really, really good, and he was like, buy it and we could buddy read it. So I did. And I believe we're buddy reading it in a couple of days when he finishes his current book, which is fabulous. I'm very excited about this. So we will be reading this very soon, even though I have not yet, and it's been on my TBR for a couple of months now. But it is really short, so we will fly through it. Next, a book I have actually read, surprise, surprise, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I picked this up, I'm not really sure why, because it's not my kind of thing, but the synopsis did sound somewhat interesting to me, and again, I'm not sure what convinced me, but I'm so glad something I'm so glad something did, because it was so, so good. I think I gave this 4 stars. I had very little to complain about with it, but so good. I've since watched the movie, which is not as good, but the book's great. Very much enjoyable. I love that it's like a floppy book, like, oh yes. Not much to say other than I loved it. There's a reading vlog, I think, where I gave you all my in-depth thoughts if you wanted to see that. Again, another book that I was very much tempted by because of BookTube, and that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Ayamide. I have the beautiful exclusive edition with the sprayed edges. I think that's all that makes it exclusive. It's a very tight book, like, you're gonna crack that spine, like, unless you want to read like this, you gonna crack that spine. I think this is a thriller following a school academy. I thought it was a boarding school. I'm depressed to find out it is not, but whatever. I also thought it had magic in it. Turns out it does not. I don't know what led me to believe those things, but I thought it did. It does not. I'm very sad about it. It's put me off reading it now, to be honest. But I will get to it soon because it does sound really good. And everybody always talks about that crazy ending, and I'm like, I need to know. I feel left out. I have this serious case of FOMO, and it's what leads me to buy so many books. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you might know that I quickly became quite obsessed with The Salt Path, which is a non-fiction memoir. Well, there is now a sequel by Raynor Winn, which is called The Wild Silence. This was in Waterstones, and I thought, haha, I need it. I need it now. I was waiting for it to come out in paperback because it was only out in hardback, so I didn't know it was coming out, but I didn't realise how soon. So when I saw it, I knew I needed it. I was so intrigued by Ray and Moth's story in the first book. They were so inspirational, so motivational. And the way the book ended, I didn't realise we were going to find out more. So when I found out about this book, to see what happens after their long walk, I knew I needed it. I am really, really intrigued to see what happens in their life, where it goes from there, and yeah, this has to be read soon. And it's super small, so I have no excuse. The Works this month had some deals, or I said this month, the last few months. So firstly, I picked up 3 books here. This is a trilogy of Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of God and Monsters. I'm not really sure why they had these books for so cheap, because I bought all three for £5. I assume it's because they're having a cover change, because I've seen those beautiful neon covers with the girls on it. That is stunning. So I assume they're just selling off the old covers. I don't know, but I took my opportunity to dive on in. This almost didn't make it into the haul because I actually decided to unhaul them, and then I decided not to. I did DNF Strange the Dreamer last year at some point because it was just so slow and boring. Nothing happened. We hadn't even gotten to Weep when I was so far in. And the same thing can't happen with this book. I seem to have lost what page I was on because I was dog-earing, so that's really great. I believe I was over 100 pages in and nothing has happened yet. So I kind of gave up and I was like, I'm not reading it. But I think that's just Laini Taylor's style. I think she just doesn't do very much in the beginning and you have to really hold out to get any story. But I want to get the story, or at least I want to try the first book before I go and get rid of the whole trilogy. Like, I'm not really bothered because it was quite cheap and, you know, someone would love to find these in a charity shop or just be given them, whatever happens with them, I don't know. But again, I do want to give them a fair shot, so I've taken them off the unhaul pile, which rarely happens, but I have done it. And I've decided that I'm going to give this one more try. One. As I said, the works are really rocking it recently, so we have 3 more books from the works. And that is the Graceling series by Kristen Kershaw. That is Graceling, Fire, and Bitterblue. They very varied in size, aren't they? This last book is big. Although it's not the last book, there is another one. Again, these books were all 3 for £5, so I couldn't resist. There was a Graceling along, which is the reason I bought them for, but then I realised I was a month behind, so I never actually ended up reading it. I don't know what the series follows. I just saw everyone else freaking out about it. I needed to pick it up. I seriously need to stop with this FOMO. Probably I'd never even read them, you don't know. But I have this series now. Hopefully I'll get to it, because I don't want it to sit on my TBR for months. But maybe I should have known what it was about before I bought it. Another beautiful book that I picked up, just because it was beautiful, and the synopsis does sound good, is The Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Brophy. Is this woman who was turned into a mermaid by somebody, jealous wives or something. I think she was too beautiful, so these wives put a curse on her to turn her into a mermaid, until she finds this man who she falls in love with, and she slowly begins to turn back into a woman. And there's some American tourists then capture her, and they have to fight to find each other again, I believe. I don't know, but it sounds really amazing. It is a super short book, but it was definitely like one of those, I picked it up because the cover was stunning, but when I found out the synopsis, I had to buy it. As I mentioned, I was trying to read Megan Miranda, so I picked up The Girl from Widow Hills by Megan Miranda. I believe this is her most recent release, except for the one she's just released the other day. Might not even be out yet, I'm not sure. And finally, for the new books that I bought, I picked up The Mercies by Kieran Millward Hargrave. I pre-ordered this on Waterstones, and I did not realise it was going to come like this. Wow, those are some stunning edges, aren't they? I'm absolutely obsessed with them. I've heard a lot about this book. I don't know if it was only because of ARC readers or if it was out in hardback, I'm not sure. But I've heard so much about this book. I swear Drinking by My Shelf used to talk about this book quite a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, maybe because I've got this book messed up, I'm not sure. But what I believe it is all the men died in this big fishing accident. So there were no more men on this island, only women. And then men from out of the island see this has happened and believe these women have killed the men and they are witches. I believe. This could be a different book. But either way, I love the sea setting. I really like reading books revolving around the sea and islands, and especially if it has witches in it, I would really love to see that. So I will read it and find out, but definitely enjoying these sprayed edges. Okay, so we are on to our final pile. These are book box books. That is quite the hard thing to say. I'll show my Illumicrate books first. I have now cancelled Illumicrate. I'm just not impressed. I received recently The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which I also don't think I've shown in a haul. So here you go. I received 3 of these copies of these books because they all arrived damaged. Even this one arrived damaged, and I just gave up trying to get anything out with them. I was like, you know what, forget it. I'll just take the damaged book. I don't care anymore. So I, in the end, was like, you know what, I'm a little bit done with Illumicray. I wasn't enjoying their book boxes anyway at the moment, except for the last 2 boxes that I didn't receive have books that I'm really interested in, so I'm a bit annoyed. But it's fine, it's fine. So the last 2 books I have to show you from Illumicray are In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland, and this comes with the most beautiful stenciled edges and end pages. It's not signed. I believe they're supposed to be sending out book plates. I thought they had sent them out. Maybe I have to message because I'm no longer a subscriber. But it has really stunning artwork inside on the author's letter. It is a really gorgeous book. I'm excited to read it. I just haven't heard much about it, which has not inspired me to pick it up, but it is gorgeous and I definitely will be at some point. And the next book from Illumicray is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. Gorgeous, look at that. Those stenciled edges yet again. I don't think there's any more customizations on this one. I might be wrong. Oh yes, they do have a little bit of engraving on the hardback, and it is signed. It came with a signed book plate that I've not yet put in the book. But yeah, very excited to read this one. I've heard quite a lot of good things. I actually haven't heard anything negative, so very intrigued to pick this one up. It's just a chonker, so I've been putting it off. Now we are on to Fairy Loot. So I have 3 Fairy Loot books to show you. I feel like that's not the right amount, but that's what we're getting. First of all, we have Witches Steeped in Gold by Sianan Smart. I absolutely love the customizations on this. I'm just really annoyed that they didn't put the original cover at least on the front, because that original cover is so much more beautiful, and I would have loved to see this like print on the back. But you know me, I always have something to complain about when it comes to my book customizations. I'm never happy. The sprayed edges are in fact gorgeous, and the general customizations are stunning. Beautiful end pages with a signature. I don't even know if you can see that. And then the actual book has again got a print on it, and there is a stunning under dust jacket art. I might even flip this around if I decide to keep it, because it is lovely. I haven't read this book. I heard many a good thing about it, but then it kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. And that worries me, because it makes me worry that it got overhyped, and then everyone stopped talking about it because they realised it wasn't as good as everyone was saying. So it makes me nervous. But me, Connor and Jade are going to read this soon. No, not February. We are in August. I think this is June's book. We have Fire with Fire by Destiny Soria. This I've never heard of. I have not heard of one person talk about this book. No idea it existed, but it sounds so good. I love the cover. I love the yellow sprayed edges. I think it sounds super interesting. The author's note with the pattern on it is gorgeous. The design. It is signed, and I love the reverse dust jacket art. There is work on the actual hardcover, but that is gorgeous. I'm actually in love with the customizations on this book. I think it is stunning. I love the fact that I've never heard of this book before. That intrigues me so much more. And it sounds like a really good synopsis. I can't remember it now. All I remember is it sounds really, really good, and it has dragons. That is right up my alley. So yeah, this is a really cool one from Fairy Loot. I just wish we had a dragon on the stenciled edge. That would have been so cool. So the July book, I think everybody adored. It is gorgeous. Probably one of the most gorgeous books I own. Mine did come a little damaged, but not enough for me to like message. So we're just going to pretend that it's not. But that is 6 Crimson Crimes by Elizabeth Lim. This already is a stunning cover. I think the original's just more green or blue based. This one's more pink based. Both absolutely gorgeous. I love it. This one comes with some really beautiful stenciled edges, which I am obsessed with. Comes signed. It's got the most beautiful naked hardback design and reverse dust jacket art. They really went all out on this book, and it is gorgeous. I am so excited to read this. The synopsis does sound amazing, and I'm just here for it. I've heard really good things from people who've read it already, so it's gonna be a good one. I am sure of it. So that was actually the last book I had to show you. That is all the books, which I know seems a little ridiculous, but it's a lot less than some of my other hauls have been. We had exactly 40 books, which honestly is not that bad. I've seen much worse on my channel. I'm quite impressed with that. But I do wish I'd read a higher ratio of them, so my mission is to stop buying and start reading. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for staying for this long. If you did, leave an emoji down below. I don't mind much emoji. Surprise me with an unusual emoji. I'd love to see some more. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you've read any of these books down below, or if you've also hauled any of these books recently, and I shall speak to you in the next one. Bye!